Business now then, Sean Pellegrin with us here on set. We're starting in South Korea today. A bit unusual for the business news. Corporate leaders there being grilled by lawmakers over these allegations of corruption, Sean.
The leaders of 9 of South Korea's biggest businesses, including Samsung and Hyundai, were being questioned live on television. This is part of a corruption probe into millions of dollars in donations to funds linked to embattled President Park Geun-hye in exchange for favors. The scandal has highlighted the proximity of South Korea's large conglomerates, or chaebols, with government. The government actually has direct or indirect stakes in many of these family business empires. More with Josh Vardy.
An unprecedented public grilling. Executives from South Korea's 9 top conglomerates, collectively known as the Jabel, faced a televised question and answer session in front of lawmakers from the country's parliament. Questions centered on how close the executives of Samsung, Hyundai Motors and others have been with the president's confidant, Jae Sun-chil, who sits at the center of a corruption scandal. Samsung Vice President Lee Jae-yong, who's currently running the company in place of his sick father, fielded many of the questions.
First of all, we are so sorry that we are related to the Choi Soon-chil scandal, and I have no excuses. We will take every measure possible in order to prevent such things from happening again.
The executives are accused with handing over millions of dollars to non-profit foundations operated by the president's confidants in return for favors. Samsung's executives in particular have been accused of buying favors in order to carry out a controversial merger that's given Lee greater control of the company. South Korea's government is itself an indirect shareholder in Jabel companies. Last year, it supported a merger of the National Pension Service with Samsung worth over $460 billion. South Korean President Park Geun-hye will face an impeachment vote on Friday in connection with the scandal, while Ms. Jae Sun-chil has been charged with coercion and attempted fraud.
European stock markets, of course, open. How are they trading then, Sean?
Well, they've opened mostly higher. Investors looking towards the upcoming ECB meeting and concerns over political instability have been eased following the referendum. So we can look at these figures right now. You can see the FTSE and the Paris CAC 40 opening flat, actually, and the DAX in Frankfurt up by 0.10%. So a timid opening in Europe. In Asia, markets closed mostly in positive territory. See the Nikkei up by 0.5%, the Shanghai Composite down 0.1%, the Hang Seng in Hong Kong up 0.85%, the Kospi up in Korea by 1.3%. In Korea, the finance ministry announced that more than half of its 2017 budget would be spent in the first half of the year, which is sort of equates to a stimulus, which could explain that boost there.
OK, let's go to Mexico now. Rather a milestone in the country's oil industry privatization program there.
Yeah, it's a first for the Mexican oil industry. State-owned company Pemex has awarded its first contract for a joint venture in deep-water oil drilling. Australian firm BHP Billiton will be developing the oil field known as the Trion Block, which could hold as much as 485 million barrels of oil. BHP will take a 60% interest in the block, while Pemex retains 40%. For the CEO of Pemex, cooperation with BHP means increased expertise.
We have a lot of experience in exploration in deep waters, but not in production. So we're going to learn how to develop the production of a field with BHP Billiton. And, we are happy that it's with them because they're one of the first deep water companies in the world.
Let's take you through some other business stories making headlines. This Tuesday, Venezuela has agreed to deliver natural gas to Trinidad and Tobago. The agreement was signed on Monday by Nicolas Maduro and Trinidad's Prime Minister Keith Rowley. Both these countries are producers of natural gas and have also agreed to further cooperation, like exploiting offshore gas reserves in their neighboring territorial waters. And it was a hot-button issue in Australia. Indian mining giant Adani Coal has agreed to hire local workers for its new project in Queensland. The state's prime minister announced that she has an quote-unquote ironclad guarantee that the company won't fly in its workers on 457 visas. Work on the Carmichael Mine project is set to begin in June next year, but is facing opposition from environmental groups. And McDonald's is not giving up on its McCafe brand. It's going to invest $4 billion into its coffee brand next year. This is part of an effort to take on rivals like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Their bet this time around is to scale up with sustainable sourcing and seasonal flavors. With this move, McDonald's are trying to get in on the cafe trend, which has seen 10% growth in 2015.
Seasonable. Is that the
Seasonable.
word?
That's
seasonable.
yeah, well,
Nice. Thank you, Charles. Charles with the business on France 24. We like inventing words here on France 24.